So Timothy Bradley came out stating that he fought multiple people on PEDs and he happened to beat them. Maybe perhaps not all of them, but he did pretty well. Now, Timothy Bradley did not name drop the 3 fighters' names he felt were on PEDs when he fought them. Except of one fighter, Marquez, he did drop his name since Marquez at that time refused to take VADA when he fought Timothy Bradley after knocking out Manny Pacquiao. He also dropped another clue on the second fighter. He said that the second fighter tested positive for PEDs after he fought Timothy Bradley, like few fights after. So we're going to dig on that in a little bit. And the third fighter, Timothy Bradley, did not reveal at all. Here is exactly what Timothy Bradley had to say when he was talking about how Devin Haney could have had beaten Ryan Garcia even when Ryan was on roids by simply keeping his left hand up. Check it out.
Bro, I fought mother on roids. You don't think I fought on roids?
Provodnikov, maybe?
Bro, come on, bro. Like, just because you don't pop don't mean that you ain't doing it. If you you know what I'm saying, if you don't pop, that just means that you got somebody doing something right for you. But
I mean, it might be microdosing, right?
Now, for sure, I can't say no names because I'll get sued. But I there's a couple of people, about 3 people that I know that was on it when they fought me. That I know, because boxing's a small community, bro. You hear through the grapevine all the time. So it's a known thing. And one of them popped dirty. I think it was like a couple of fights after he fought me.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, you know, if you guys think about it, you'll catch my drift. Somebody popped dirty after I beat him. Somebody popped dirty a few months after that, or a few fights after he fought me, and then after I beat his ass. Right. So, that's one. Another one didn't want. I said another one didn't want to take the VADA testing. And I already told y'all who that it was.
Right.
They want to take the VADA testing. The motherfucker want to drink his own urine and stuff. So, yeah, exactly. Fought him, and he had just knocked out Manny Pacquiao cold. Yeah, knocked him out, flattened him. So I fought him, I beat him. See, look, man, I'm telling you, man, like all Devin had to do, I'll be honest with you, was just hold the phone, bro.
Yeah.
He was winning most of the fight. You know what I'm saying? He was winning most of those exchanges during the fight. I mean, you know, he was jabbing, he was moving, he was looking good, but he kept dropping that right hand, bro. And Ryan is extremely gifted at shooting that left hook, bro. He shoots that out of nowhere. It's automatic for him, man. It's just like Manny Pacquiao. I trained for Manny Pacquiao's left hand, but it still was so hard to avoid because he's just so great at landing it, bro. It's so quick, it's so accurate, it's so deadly.
Now, the first fighter is self-explanatory why Timothy Bradley felt that way. Just like Ryan Garcia is refusing to enroll with VADA as we speak for the Devin Haney rematch, the only reason a fighter will refuse to take VADA is if he's dirty. Obviously, if a fighter is juicing and he's on that forbidden fruit called PEDs, he's not going to take the test. At least not random style drug testing like VADA and USADA. So it don't surprise me that Marquez refused to take PED testing, steroid testing, aka VADA testing, against Timothy Bradley when they fought. At that time, Marquez was avoiding Timothy Bradley for years. It wasn't until Timothy Bradley got a controversial win against Manny Pacquiao, becoming a champion at 147. At that time, Marquez was already a 4-division champ. He was old as heck. Even then, he still moved up to his 5th weight division yet again, this time not to fight Floyd, but to fight Manny Pacquiao in a quad trilogy where he knocked out Manny Pacquiao. There was no random style drug testing for that fight, where Manny Pacquiao ended up getting knocked out cold by Marquez. Now, of course, Marquez already had Pacquiao's style down pat, but he had another formula. The way to beat a cheater, you have to be cheating. I'm not saying Marquez cheated. All I'm saying is only God knows. But if both of them didn't want any testing, then there shouldn't be any problem. It ain't like one of them did and one of them didn't. In this case, whether magically they were clean or whether both fighters was on that forbidden fruit, at the end of the day, the fight was on an even playing field due to that. It ain't like any one of them wanted steroid testing. They both didn't want random style drug testing. Therefore, it is what it is. We don't have any complaint. However, after the fight, the same Manny Pacquiao fans that were defending Pacquiao for refusing to take random style drug testing against Floyd, they started pointing out, look at all of the acne on Marquez's chest. Well, it is what it is. That's what you call karma. Either way, after the fight, Marquez beat Pacquiao, which is his ultimate goal since he felt he was robbed in all of the previous matches against Pacquiao. Remember, they already had a trilogy before their quadrilogy fight. However, at that time, Pacquiao was no longer a champion. So simultaneously, Marquez didn't get to fulfill his dream of becoming a 5-division world champion, joining the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Sugar Ray Leonard, etc., etc., etc. The only way to do so was to either fight Floyd, who already smoked him. Marquez already knew he had no chance against Floyd. Or fight Timothy Bradley. Now, Timothy Bradley had came off a very tough fight where people were questioning if Timothy Bradley is ever going to be the same after that fight. Provodnikov had put it on Timothy Bradley. He had Timothy Bradley on wobbly legs. The entire fight, Timothy Bradley was fighting on instinct. He managed to win the fight. However, he was concussed after the fight. That's how bad the beating was. Well, all of a sudden, Marquez went from ducking Timothy Bradley, from avoiding Timothy Bradley, to wanting to fight Timothy Bradley. Remember, Timothy Bradley had been wanting to fight Marquez. So at that time, he didn't care if Marquez was on PEDs or not, if he was not going to take VADA or not, due to the fact he was receiving a lot of backlash for the Manny Pacquiao win. What better way than to come back to beat the guy who knocked out Manny Pacquiao? Also, Timothy Bradley already fought fighters that he suspected were on PEDs like Jesse Vargas and Brandon Rios. On top of that, he'd been wanting to fight Marquez, so he took the fight. It was a gamble because leading up to the fight, Timothy Bradley trainer, he actually told us on Dante Radio show that Timothy Bradley at that time hadn't recovered during camp. He was looking bad. He was getting beat up by amateurs leading up to the fight. The closer they got to the fight, that's when Timothy Bradley started hitting the switch. He started getting his confidence back. He started getting his instinct back. By fight night, Timothy Bradley was back and put on his best performance against Marquez. Same Marquez that put Pacquiao to sleep. Now, of course, that's the first fighter Timothy Bradley pointed out that was on PEDs when he fought him. The second fighter, Timothy Bradley, didn't drop a name, but he did drop a clue. He said the fighter tested positive for PEDs after he fought him. Now, I'm not really sure who that is. I did do my research. I ran across Brandon Rios testing positive for PEDs against Manny Pacquiao. However, that was before he fought Timothy Bradley. And that was after Pacquiao learned his lesson and started doing random style drug testing to his opponents. I even heard that Manny Pacquiao, he was able to force his opponents to do random style drug testing after he got KO'd without taking the random style drug testing himself to the full extent or at all, since it was the Pacquiao sweepstakes. Either way, Timothy Bradley ended up fighting Brandon Rios after Pacquiao, and he was able to knock out Brandon Rios. So in my opinion, Timothy Bradley fought a lot of fighters on PEDs. And he was so gifted, he was so good, he actually managed to beat majority of them. Now all of them, which takes me to the last fighter Timothy Bradley felt was on PEDs when he fought him. However, this fighter, Timothy Bradley, did not drop a name nor a clue. And I think I have a clue to why he did that. It's because he don't want to receive any type of backlash. He already received it before, and he almost self-destructed. That's why he went crazy against Provodnikov. That fighter is no other than Manny Pacquiao, who refused to do random style drug testing when Floyd Mayweather sent him a 50-50 offer back in 2009, agreeing to all of his terms. All Floyd Mayweather wanted in return is for Pacquiao to do the random style drug testing, and Pacquiao said, heck no. So in fact, it was Manny Pacquiao who ducked Floyd Mayweather prime for prime in 2009. Either that or Pacquiao was on steroids. You choose. You pick whatever you believe. Why did Pacquiao turn down a 50-50 offer, a 50-50 split of like $50 million guaranteed plus 50% of the pay-per-view revenue and everything else? Due to steroid testing. Pacquiao didn't want to do any type of steroid testing. Why wouldn't you do that if you are clean? And why wouldn't you do that to protect yourself and your opponent? To make sure that your opponent is not going to cheat you unless you are cheating. This doesn't take a scientist to figure out. It's common sense. Well, a few years later, Floyd Mayweather sent Pacquiao a second offer, another offer in 2012 to fight. It was $40 million guaranteed plus pay-per-view. Pacquiao dropped the phone call in a heartbeat. He said no to the offer due to random style drug testing yet again. Even Freddie Roach admitted it was Pacquiao's fault. The fight with Floyd Mayweather didn't happen prime for prime against Pacquiao. Well, interestingly enough, Timothy Bradley ended up fighting that version of Manny Pacquiao. However, he actually managed to win in a very controversial win. Either way, after Timothy Bradley beat Marquez, Pacquiao came back to beat Timothy Bradley not just once but twice in a trilogy match where Pacquiao beat Timothy Bradley clear. Now, Timothy Bradley talked about how Devin Haney, all he had to do to beat Ryan is keep his right hand up to avoid the hook. Because Ryan hook is so fast, you can't see it coming to anticipate it, then duck it. You can't do all that. You don't have time to process all of that. You have to keep your hands up at all times. Which I do agree with Timothy Bradley when it comes to that department. I'm going to go in depth on that on another video. However, even though Timothy Bradley beat majority of the fighters he fought on PEDs, he did lose to one. The one he didn't want to name, and he only praised. The fighter who refused to take random style drug testing against Floyd when they were prime for prime. That fighter, Timothy Bradley, couldn't block his left hand. No matter what Timothy Bradley did, Pacquiao was too fast and too strong. He was simply too good for Timothy Bradley, right? So how come he didn't just keep his hand up to block Manny Pacquiao left hand? You see, it's not that simple. Ryan already has tremendous speed and power as it is. You combine that with the formula those other fighters Timothy Bradley was talking about, now he becomes a dangerous fighter. Ryan with PEDs and missing weight? Come on now. I don't even know if Devin Haney keeping his right hand up would have had been enough. He would have had to change his entire game plan instead of standing right in front of Ryan. He had to fight Ryan as if Ryan was on PEDs and as if Ryan missed weight, and he knew all of that leading up to the fight to train for that type of fight. However, Devin Haney trained for a different type of fight, a clean type of fight, an even playing field type of fight. Now, Timothy Bradley beat Brandon Rios, right? He beat some other fighters that he felt were on PEDs, but he couldn't mess with Pacquiao. Why is that? That's where the hypocrisy came in by Timothy Bradley. He wanted to praise Pacquiao, but Ryan brought the same speed and power Pacquiao did. So if Ryan is on PEDs and he missed weight, then that's double trouble if you ask me. Just like how Timothy Bradley didn't have the answers to beat Pacquiao, Devin Haney didn't have the answers to beat Ryan Garcia, even though the fight was extremely close. Like I said before, DAZN had the fight a draw. Dan Rafael had Devin Haney beating Ryan by 1 point. So it ain't like Devin Haney wasn't in the fight. Just like Bradley, he was in the Pacquiao fight. He just couldn't beat him. Now, I do believe that Manny Pacquiao is a way better fighter than Ryan. I do believe that Pacquiao is way more tricky than Ryan. But still, Ryan is dangerous on his own as well. He's nothing to sleep on PEDs and while missing weight. That's a dangerous combination right there, especially when you give that to a fighter who already has tremendous hand speed and power. We're not talking about Brandon Rios. I can see Bradley beating Brandon Rios on PEDs. I'm not saying he was on PEDs. I'm just saying Bradley has the ability to do it. But I cannot see Bradley beating Manny Pacquiao on PEDs. Heck no. Likewise for Devin Haney. I can see Devin Haney beating JoJo on PEDs. Not saying he was, but I can see Devin Haney beating Ryan easily on PEDs. The way Timothy Bradley was trying to make it sound like. I don't even know if Devin can ever beat Ryan on PEDs. If he does, he has to fight the perfect game plan while knowing that Ryan is cheating and is going to miss weight so he can prepare for that type of fight. Other than that, that's like Mission Impossible. If a fighter is taking PEDs, you can beat him if he's the right opponent. Let me explain. Oscar De La Hoya versus Vargas. Vargas tested positive for PEDs, but Oscar was way more talented, so he knocked him out. No difference than Frank Martin beating Rivera. Rivera tested positive for PEDs and Frank Martin still beat him. That's because Rivera doesn't have the same attributes as a Ryan Garcia. He don't have the same speed and power at all. But Oscar got smoked against Pacquiao, even though he was drained in that fight. The point is, even if Oscar was 100%, that was still going to be a tough fight for Oscar De La Hoya. Let's say at 147, 140, or even 130 pounds when Oscar was that light. It would have had been a very tough fight for Oscar. I don't even know if he would have had beaten that version of Pacquiao, which is my point exactly. Frank Martin against Ryan Garcia. Can he beat that PED version of Ryan who missed weight? I don't see it happening. I see Ryan knocking out Frank Martin in that situation. The point I'm trying to make, you can beat a fighter on PEDs. It all depends how good that fighter is and how talented he is. Timothy Bradley beat Marquez, but he couldn't beat Pacquiao. It all depends how good the opposition is. PEDs is only going to make you more of who you are. So if you're a bum and you take PEDs, you're going to become a C-level fighter. If you're a C-level fighter and you take PEDs, that may enhance your ability to become an A or a B-level fighter, depending on your attributes. And if you're already a B-level fighter, then without a doubt, PEDs is going to make you an A-level fighter, if not elite, which is why PEDs are banned. With the opinions out of the door and the facts laid out on the table, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.